So as I said, good morning. Welcome to everyone who we have here today. It's fantastic to see so many of you have joined. So welcome to the webinar. It's worth noting, first off, we will be recording today's session. So if you do have to duck out a little bit early or whatever, we will be sending the recording around afterwards, so you won't miss anything. We will also hopefully have a bit of time at the end for some Q&A. So if you do think of any questions or have anything as we go through, please do put it in the chat box and we'll come back to that at the end. But without further ado, let's kind of kick off today's session. As you can see, today I'm joined by Emma and Tanya from the Hyde group. It's fantastic to have them on today. And we're going to be hearing from the guys from Hyde all about how their social media structure is set up at the organisation, how that's coordinated across all their different teams and users, with particular focus on how they're managing customer service, because that's obviously a growing need for many organisations. And then also looking at some of the bits they've been doing in terms of marketing campaigns and driving further engagement and activity. So let's jump into some intros. So my name is Naomi Linford. I'm one of the enterprise social media specialists here at CrowdControlHQ, and I work with a lot of our clients like Emma and Tanya to help them to optimize their use of social media alongside their use of CrowdControlHQ. So I guess I'll let Emma and Tanya give a little bit of an intro to themselves.
Hi, I'm Emma Morrison. I'm the Digital Communications Manager at the Hyde Group. So I look after all of our digital channels. So that includes the website, intranet, and obviously social media, which I run with Tanya.
Perfect. Yeah, and my name's Tanya Moravec. I'm Social Media Advisor at the Hyde Group. I look after the day-to-day running of our social media channels. I oversee the work of our customer service team, and I manage the content for outbound content for all our social media channels.
Brilliant. Thanks again to you both for joining us today. Let me move on. So I know you've prepared a bit of a presentation for us today to give us an overview into what you're doing, as I said. So I don't know if you wanted to kick off with the bits that you prepared to talk about.
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, I was going to say, you know, who is Hyde? So basically, we are one of the UK's largest housing associations. We house just under 100,000 residents in approximately 50,000 homes across London and the South East. We've currently got a social media following of just over 20,000, which is made up of a variety of channels. We have our corporate Twitter channel at Hyde Housing. We have a dedicated customer service channel at My Hyde Home. Then we also have a Facebook channel, which is mainly for customer services, as well as a careers Facebook page, which helps to support recruitment and build our employer brand. And then additionally, we have dedicated Twitter and Facebook accounts for home seekers and shared owners via our Hyde New Homes platform. So there we go. Now you can see the slide which shows the dedicated Twitter accounts. So next, I was going to give a quick overview of why we started with CCHQ and what having a social relationship platform means for us. So rolling back a few years now to 2014, we had been using social media for customer service at Hyde for a while, mainly dealing with inbound customer contact. But obviously, as you know, nationwide, social traffic was slowly but steadily growing. And at that time, we developed a new corporate communications strategy. And as part of that, we wanted to provide easier, more convenient, more effortless access to services for our customers, you know, anytime, any device type of thing. Social media was increasingly used as a channel for contact, for questions, for complaints, and customers, particularly on that channel, really do expect a fast and high quality response. So in order for us to provide a better level of customer service, we knew that we needed to grow and develop our social media presence. So in order to do this, we needed more people from the business to get involved. And in order to involve more people in the business, clearly we needed a set of robust processes in place to ensure that our social customer service was consistent, high quality, that we had visibility of social media activity across all platforms, and that we minimised and mitigated any potential risk to the business. Now, before we had the social relationship platform, we were managing inbound and outbound content either via Hootsuite's free tool or by logging into the platforms directly. So direct login to the platform meant that several teams across the business had direct access to the platform, and this clearly presents a few issues if you want to grow your social media presence. So security was a big issue for us because we had several people logging into the native platforms using the same login and password. We did have processes in place to mitigate this risk, but clearly this approach doesn't give you full control over who is accessing your platform. So this could lead to reputational risk, also issues with data security, particularly if a staff member were to leave the business but still have the password to log into our platforms directly. So that, clearly it's not sustainable going forward. The other issue with people logging in via the same password is that we don't know exactly who is posting and responding. So this could cause us issues if, as a comms team, we want to follow up on a post for quality reasons, to request further information, or just to find out who's dealing with a particular inquiry. So it's just not a very efficient way of working. And efficiency in general was an issue for the customer services team. Having to log in and out of several platforms many times per day was clearly wasting precious time that they could be spending answering customer inquiries. So all these things considered, we really needed a tool that could manage all of our inbound and outbound customer contact via one portal with individual accounts for each user, so we could safely grow our social media presence without introducing any risk to the business. We did look at a few tools. Obviously, there's quite a few of them on the market, and CCHQ was the one that seemed to meet our needs in terms of usability and security, and these were our two priorities. It's a great tool. It enabled us to manage access to social media across the whole business. So each individual user gets their own unique password, and then Tanya and I, who are the admins for the platform, can give individual staff members access to different social networks according to their job role via the admin console. So customer services are able to be more efficient. They log in once to the portal and they get access to all the channels they need. And this has really helped us to increase productivity on social media and increased our response times, which is really important. Also, because we've got this full audit trail of who's doing what and when, we've been able to train up more users across the business to post and respond to content in their own dedicated business area. So, for example, property services, resident engagement, etc. Another thing we use is validation. So this is really important. It's basically a process whereby a post gets a second pair of eyes before it goes public. So validation, we either do this ourselves in the comms team, or we've also through the platform been able to create little validation groups so people self-validate as a team. And like I say, it's a great second pair of eyes, and that's really essential in terms of maintaining the quality of our social output, and it's all done via the platform in a really easy way. I don't know if you want to move to the next slide, Naomi.
I can do. I just wanted to ask you on that, because you've obviously mentioned that you had quite a lot of challenges that you were looking to rectify when you kicked off the kind of social media project at Hyde. And I just wanted to ask if you could summarize the kind of core benefits you think you've seen, or core results you think you've seen since starting that to now.
Well, definitely an increase in efficiency. I mean, customer services no longer have to sign in and sign out of several platforms several times a day. They log in once and they then have full visibility across all the different channels, particularly via the conversations tab, which is a really useful function which gives a complete overview of inbound posts across all channels, so they're able to see the whole picture in one screen. So they have definitely saved time, become more productive, and become more efficient. I mean, they've told us themselves they would not want to go back to the old way of working. Yeah, it's not possible to deal with the volume of inbound inquiries in the way we were working before. We've also got a robust and secure platform now, so we know we have security. Individual users have individual logins. We have a full audit trail. We've minimised the risk to the business to the absolute bare minimum. And what we've also been able to do, importantly, is give access to our out-of-hours team. So they currently monitor the phone calls, weekends and evenings, and deal with emergencies. So what we've been able to do with crowd control is to give access to several members of our out of hours team who now monitor social media for us out of hours and respond to emergencies in the same way as they would by the phone, which is fantastic, and that's a much better sort of level of customer service for our customers. And the other big benefit we've had is in terms of reporting, business reporting. It's got a great analytics function, so we're able to report on our social KPIs quickly, efficiently, and we can use this data to continually improve our customer service, which is what we're aiming to do. It used to be a manual process, totting up, you can imagine, totting up sort of inbound, outbound, and now it's all done automatically. We can measure campaigns and volume of inbound and outbound activity. We've also now been able to, with crowd control, start measuring engagement. So not just the volume of posts, but the impact and effectiveness of posts. And that's really important. We're really pleased that we're able to do that.
Brilliant. And I think, as you said, I think what you're doing with your out of hours emergency monitoring is just something that more and more organizations are going to have to start looking at. So it's really interesting and fantastic that you've taken the first step to get involved in that. And I just wanted to ask you, how did you kind of get buy-in from senior management and your colleagues to actually put this service in place? Because I know from speaking to other organizations, it's not always as straightforward as just sort of committing to that resource.
Yeah, true. I mean, it was basically part of our communication strategy overall is to provide a multi-channel customer service so that customers can contact us effortlessly 24/7 via any device. And as we could prove that increasing numbers of people were using social media as a first point of contact, the business very quickly agreed that it really made good business sense to include this channel in our out-of-hours monitoring.
Perfect. So you had the evidence, and you could say this is exactly why we do this, and this is the process. Brilliant.
That's right. And it supported our overall strategy, so that was important.
Yeah, and I guess have you had some good feedback from your residents and members of the community that this is the kind of forum that they want to be communicating with you on?
Yeah, definitely. We have. I mean, our customer services team, that basically there's talking about this slide, faster, better customer services. There's a dedicated team within Hyde, within the customer services directorate, who deal with non-voice contact, and they have specialist training to respond to social media, and they look after all of our inbound customer contact across all our channels on Twitter and Facebook. And they've worked really hard over the last couple of years to improve the timeliness, quality, consistency of their responses. And we've had a lot of good feedback on our platforms, just to say that people are really pleased with the response they get across social media. So yeah, we're really confident that we are offering a best practice service to our customers in that way.
That's brilliant. So you've got a very strong customer service set up with lots of different people involved who will have the right skills to give your residents and customers what they're looking for, which is fantastic. So was there anything else you wanted to talk about on this, or am I all right to jump into the next slide?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. So I guess this brings us on to your kind of more marketing and engagement activity. I know, Tanya, you were really taking the lead on this hashtag Myfrontdoor selfie campaign. Would you be able to tell us a bit more about kind of what this was and how it worked?
Absolutely, yes. So last year, we celebrated our 50th anniversary, which was obviously a big milestone, and we decided to celebrate this in a number of ways, and one of them was the Myfrontdoor selfie campaign, which was really a fun way to engage with our residents, with our staff, with our working partners, and anybody who wanted to join in was welcome to join in the campaign. The aim was really to highlight the importance of having a home and using the hashtag Myfrontdoor to take a selfie outside your front door and talk about what home means to you. So we had some great engagement from residents, so that you can see there's an example of one of our residents, Shana, who got involved in the campaign, and obviously yourself, Crowd Control, pictured outside your office, and our staff. Some of our staff were quite keen to get involved. It wasn't something that suited everyone, but those who wanted to join did join, and we had some nice stories. It was a really nice. It was just a fun campaign, and it was picked up by this organisation, Sound Delivery, who are a digital storytelling organisation, and that was nice that they picked that up and really sort of highlighted the storytelling element, because that's what we'd hoped to achieve, and really share some stories, share some good feeling about your home and what home means to you.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like a really personal campaign. And I wanted to ask how you kind of went about promoting this. Was it all online, or did you do any offline promotions to kind of encourage more of, like you said, your colleagues or residents or partners to get involved?
So it was primarily a Twitter campaign, and we rolled it out on our corporate Twitter account at Hyde Housing, but we also promoted it via our other social media channels, via Facebook and our customer-facing Twitter channel. But we did some more traditional promotion. So we asked people around the business to talk to their stakeholders and their working partners, to talk about it at their team meetings, and just generally spread the word. Face to face, because sometimes that works. We also promoted it internally via our internal comm systems, our intranet and our newsletters. And last May we had an all-staff conference, also to coincide with our 50th anniversary, and we promoted the selfie campaign at the conference. So we had a big poster with lots of examples of selfies that people had sent us, and we had lots of people coming up to us and looking at the poster and saying, "Oh, I know that person. Oh, look, there's so and so," and that really got people on board with that. And if they hadn't already joined, they were quite happy to take a selfie on the day, or just talk about it and just keep the conversation going, and just sort of spread the word and create a little bit of conversation around the subject. So yeah, it was good.
Brilliant. So yeah, it seems like it was quite a mix of that offline and online, and really making the most of your relationships that you've got across the business to expand that campaign. Yeah. I think something that can sometimes get forgotten is that you have actually got so much to make the most of outside of just your social media networks. So fantastic to hear that you were reaching out as far and wide as you could. And I know you also did another sort of secondary campaign off the back of this 50th anniversary of Hyde. So I don't know if you could tell us a bit about how this kind of featured with the Myfrontdoor campaign.
Yeah, so our second campaign was more about highlighting our history and our legacy of social housing and our social purpose. And this was really aimed at engaging with the housing sector and other housing associations. So we used the hashtag Hyde50 to tie in with our 50th anniversary again, and we did a countdown over 50 days leading to the official anniversary of our incorporation in September 1967. So we did one tweet a day for 50 days, and we used a mixture of facts and little tidbits and some history. So you can see there the housing, the images of the two houses, how they've changed over the years, and a picture of our founders, 3 of our founding members who set up the organisation 50 years ago, and we shared key milestones over the 50 days. And again, we measured the engagement. We measured it in terms of how other housing associations were interacting with us, and how, for example, we were quite pleased when the chairman of the National Federation of Housing tweeted us and congratulated us on our 50th anniversary. So that was really, a measure of the reach and engagement of the campaign, which was great.
That's fantastic. And I know you mentioned to us the other day that you saw a particular growth in your engagement or reach. I can't remember which one. So what sort of impacts did you see, and how did that tie with your kind of KPIs or any objectives that you'd set for the campaign?
Okay, so we used the campaign function on Crowd Control to measure the engagement via the hashtag Hyde50, and we compared 50 days of the campaign to the previous 50 days, and we saw an increase in engagement of 27% during the campaign. So quite significant.
Definitely, that's massive. And I guess that, sorry, go on.
No. I'm just nodding in agreement.
I thought I'd cut you off there. No, what I was going to say is I guess that definitely kind of met the expectations or exceeded them, that you wanted to drive more of this engagement around the industry and the sector, getting that feedback and communication with key individuals in the sector. So it's fantastic to see that both campaigns really saw you driving engagement and reach, and actually involving lots more of the community, both within the Hyde group and also externally. So a fantastic result from both, clearly. So I know, as I said before, that we would hopefully have time for questions, and it looks like we have about 5 minutes. So I can see that we do have a couple of questions here. So if I just check what these ones are. So we've had a question from Leah, who has asked, was there paid promotion behind this? I guess, Leah, correct me if I'm wrong, I guess you're referring to the Hyde 50 campaign, either or both. So I'll hand that to you guys.
On this occasion, no, we didn't pay. We did not pay to promote anything on social media. This was purely organic engagement. So no is the answer. We didn't pay for any promotion. Okay,
so it was purely just from, like we said, kind of making the most of your networks and pushing it as far as you can, I guess. To get that 27% increase in engagement is a fantastic result with no spend on it. So hopefully that answered your question, Leah. If you did have any more, oh, I've just seen there's another one in there. So the other question was, if I just open this out, was there an impact on the front door campaign with customers being nervous of taking a photo in front of their door regarding privacy? So I guess, did you have any issues with people being nervous about sharing such a sort of private thing?
Yeah, that's a good question, and obviously we were very conscious of privacy and removed any GPS data on images that were sent to us. We did make it clear to our staff that it was very optional. It was optional whether they took part in the campaign, and if they didn't want to use their own personal Twitter account, then we used our corporate account. But we were took measures to protect their identity and, like I said, remove GPS data from any photos. And the same with residents. You know, we made it clear that we wouldn't be sharing any personal data.
Okay, so you had a few kind of protocols in place to cover off those things early doors.
Yes,
basically.
exactly. Yes.
Brilliant. We've had another question here from Emma, who has asked, what is the volume of traffic each day across the 3 channels that you've got? So I guess the kind of customer service, main Hyde, and your new Hyde New Homes channels.
That's not one that I can answer off the top of my head, to be honest. Inbound content in a month on our public channels. Oh goodness. I'd have to get. I don't have the figures to hand. I'm sorry. We'd have to come back to that.
Okay, that's fine. As I said, I saw someone else asked if we'd be recording the session, and we are, and we can always send out some additional information after this for any questions, because I can see there are quite a few questions anyway, so it might be the case that we have to come back with more answers anyway, so we can cover all of that off. That's fine. I can see there's one that relates to the customer service kind of setup, which I think is really interesting. So we've had a question that says, are the queries handled by one team, or are these sent off to geographical teams or functional teams to answer?
Yeah, I can probably answer that one. So in the first instance, inbound customer contact is dealt with by our specialist social media team who sit within customer services, and they will try and answer it at that first point of contact if possible. However, if they do need input from another team, specialist input, then then they will pass it on to somebody else and get the information they need. So they will be the first sort of people who triage all of our inbound contact, that one specialist team.
Okay, perfect. And then they shoot off to wherever, who has the best knowledge and information.
In the same way as they would deal with other inbound contact. So same with, phone calls, emails.
Okay, perfect. And I guess, are they more geographically focused in terms of your properties, or are they more functional, whether it's a new kind of sales opportunity or a particular resident issue?
They're a central team, our customer services team, so they operate across all of our geographical areas.
Mm-hmm. And then the people that you would forward the messages to, they're kind of functional rather than geographical, or?
Again, it depends on the specific inquiry. We do obviously operate from Peterborough all the way down to the south coast, so we operate across quite a wide area. So we do have various roles who operate within specific geographical areas, and then some central teams as well. So it's a mixture.
No, hopefully that answers your question, Emma. And then I think we have time maybe for one more, if that's okay. I appreciate we're starting to go over our 11 o'clock limit, but we've got a lot of good questions coming in. So one more that we've had in that we'll finish on is, how do you capture photos or other input from the wider team that you can then share on social?
Oh, sorry, you go ahead. I was going to say,
I assume that means from the business as a whole.
I assume so, yeah.
Yes, so what we do is, as we mentioned earlier, we do have various teams across the business who are set up with direct social media access. So, for example, property services, resident engagement, so they are able to directly share their own content out on our social channels if they need to. And if other teams across the business have something to share on social, we have a dedicated email inbox, which Tanya and I and other members of the digital team monitor sort of all day, every day. And so people can send content, photos, things like that into there, and then we would prepare that and get that content sent out for them if it's appropriate.
Okay, perfect. So they can do their own bit, but you've also got sort of an area that you can control and have things sent into, so a bit of both. Okay, perfect. So I am conscious of time, and I appreciate that there's probably other things that people have got going on. So I think now is a good time to stop before we get into any more questions. So I can see there are still a couple trickling in. So as I said, this has been recorded, so we will send that out after the session, probably later on this afternoon. And I'll make sure that we get some answers over to you guys on the other questions that we haven't had time to cover off. I will also just flick to our screen with our contact details on. So if you did have any other questions for Emma or Tanya, please do feel free to reach out to those guys, because they've got a lot of great knowledge and insight to share. But equally, if you have any questions for us, there are our contact details as well. We hope that you've enjoyed today's session, and massive thank you to Emma and Tanya for sharing their insights here and giving us an idea of what they're up to on social at the Hyde group, which is fantastic. So yes, thank you again, and thank you to Emma and Tanya, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.